What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm going to be reacting to Sooubway for the final sandwich by The Odd Ones Out. Now, I freaking love The Odd Ones Out. I always, whenever The Odd Ones Out, it's a, man, I can't speak. Oh my goodness. Whenever The Odd Ones Out uploads, it's a good day. Anyway, hopefully it's been quite awesome. The original link's in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to The Odd Ones Out or James. And yeah, without any further ado, let's begin.
Guys, buy my card game. It's at Target.
Wait, you got it? You got your card game into Target? How did you freaking manage that?
All right, here's the video now.
This is pretty cool.
Sooubway will always hold a special place in my empty heart, not because I have fond memories working there, but because some of you really liked it when I talked about working there. And I made buckets with those videos compared to what I was making at Sooubway, which was nice. Apparently I was hashtag relatable enough to connect with millions of people, and it took my channel—
Because a lot of people work fast food. I mean, I've done it. I've done it for years. Freaking hate it. Hate it.
to where it is today. And then less than 2 weeks later, I made a part 2 to that video, and I struck an even bigger chord with people.
Who likes the sequel better than the original?
People think that I use the word Sooubway in my videos so I wouldn't get sued. This is not true. I wasn't successful enough to get sued. They had other problems to deal with at the time.
Oh no, Jared.
I called it Sooubway for a joke. In my first video I said, I used to work at a very small local sandwich shop. I don't know if any of you guys heard of it. It's called Sooubway. I was making you think that I worked at an unknown place, and then I subverted your expectations by saying I worked at Sooubway. But now at this point in my career, I am calling my previous place of employment Sooubway because I don't want to get soobed. The most requests I get for a video is Sooubway Part 4, but I never really considered making another one because I don't work there anymore.
You wouldn't know what to talk about?
I have no new stories to talk about.
Exactly.
But something happened recently, and I do want to talk about it. You see, the Sooubway I used to work at closed down, and I am—
Wow, really? I heard that subways are starting to close down. Like, I think the chain is actually shrinking. I don't know whether that's from, like, all the scandals with them having allegedly, you know, their meat not being allegedly 100% meat or something. I remember that was a scandal like a year or two ago. And then I remember the Jared thing, and so maybe that's why. I don't know why. That's weird. I've never seen one close down, but I've heard that they are closing down.
So deeply upset at this news that the only way for me to cope is to make one last video about it. So this story happened a couple of years after I quit working at Sooubway. I was behind on a video, so that meant I was in a mentally damaging mindset called crunch mode, and I had been working all day, and I started getting hungry, and I still hadn't taken Floof on a walk, so I decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and eat Floof. Just kidding. I decided to take Floof on a walk to my local Sooubway. And before I entered the store, I picked up Floof and held her in my arms, cause I'm not a psych—
Are you allowed to bring a dog into Subway? I mean, I wouldn't think you would be, unless it's like a seeing eye dog.
Path. I know taking your dog into a restaurant is tacky and a health code violation, but this is a Sooubway we're talking about. I know how laid back it is here. There are no rules or health codes. One time when I was working at my Sooubway, this 10-year-old kid came in wearing a swimsuit and literally nothing else. And he was unsupervised. He didn't want a sandwich, all he wanted was a cookie, but this kid wasn't wearing shoes or—
Could have a mustache, or is that a mustache or a smile?
A shirt. The 2 things you need to get service at a restaurant.
Smile.
So did I tell this shirtless delinquent to get lost? No, he had money, so I did business with him. I don't discriminate against shirtless people. Look, his mom was probably at the grocery store next door, and he just got done with swimming lessons, and he said something like, "Mother, I would be most grateful if you let me consume a pastry with high levels of sugar and simple carbohydrates."
I'm sure that's what it sounds like. Oh, that's hilarious. That is weird that little kid would come in just wearing a swimsuit. Imagine if you didn't live anywhere near the water. The kid just comes in with a swimsuit, that's it. Like, what are you doing?
And his mom probably said, "Yeah, whatever."
Why'd you draw his belly button so freaking weird? It's disturbing.
Nerd, go get something at Sooubway. So the point of this story is to let you know that I was the kind of employee who, as long as you were willing to pay for your food, didn't care what you were wearing or what health code you were violating. This is
what the freak's that kid grabbing down there?
a gosh darn Sooubway. So I walk in with Floof, and it's completely empty, by the way. Seems like I'm the only one in this town that even likes Sooubway.
That's probably why it closed down.
The only other person in the store said, "Is that a service animal?" Floof's not a service animal, unless the service you want is someone to chew up all your stuff and bark at everyone. But she still emotionally supports me when I tell her, I'm gonna die alone. She tries to make me feel better by licking the inside of my nose. But I didn't want to lie to this guy about Floof's emotional support status, because if I said,
So let me guess, you said no and they kicked you out?
yes, and he said, prove it, I would be in trouble. So like the emotionally stable enough to not need a dog person that I am, I said, no. And he said, she can't be in here. If the health inspector came in, they would fire me on the spot. Which, like, geez, dude, you're gonna let the health inspector treat you like that?
As he says, lying all over the food. This is what I love. That's very subtle. That's very subtle.
Stand up for yourself once in a while. So I said, okay, I'll leave. Yeah, there are other restaurants in walking distance.
Yeah, take that, Subway. Take that, Subway. Let me take my dog into another restaurant.
Sooubway guy. The ramen place lets me order with Floof in my arms all the time. I know this because I've already been there twice this week, and the only reason I'm even getting Sooubway is because I don't want the ramen employees thinking that I'm a weird guy who brings my non-emotional support dog everywhere. You missed out, Sooubway. Do you know who I am? I used to work here.
James, you're getting a little bit too emotional. I think you need your emotional support dog at the moment.
And then the guy called my bluff. He said, wait, we can make it fast. As fast as Jimmy John's? This kid's standing up for himself. I'm proud of him. I knew exactly what to tell him. I want a foot-long ham sandwich on Italian bread with American cheese. I know that's the hard...
Yeah, you can tell him that. And to make things even better, or safer, in case the health inspector does come, you can go outside and wait for him to be done, and then just come back in and pay, right? Like, you can work around this.
Hardest cheese to pull apart with gloves on, but whatever. He sped run putting on the meat and cheese, and then he asked me what kind of vegetables. And in my mind I went, hold on, you didn't ask me if I wanted it toasted. I see what you're doing. You're trying to get this sandwich finished as quickly as possible, so you're not even going to ask me if I want it toasted and hope I forgot. Well, it's okay, because I didn't want it toasted, but I'm onto you. And then Floof jumped over the counter, peed on the olives, and bit the guy in the jugular. And then licked the inside of his nose. Some people take their job way too seriously. Well, at least some Sooubway workers are more laid back like me. Like this one time not too long...
Is that really how the story ended?
I mean, not all things have a happy ending. Just look at my marriage. We got divorced and I have not seen my kids in a year.
Ago, I went back to the Sooubway I used to work at, and I didn't recognize any of the people there. But someone did get recognized in that store. Me. One of the workers said, "Are you the guy that made the cartoon about working here?" And I said, yeah. And then
What was that face?
by telling him, hey kid, this is the place. What? This is where it all happened, kid. These floors are the very same floors that I used to mop. You missed a spot over there. And this kid lost all 6 of his olives. Okay, I don't use my fame to get into places I'm not supposed to, usually. But this kid was so excited, and I used to work here, so I asked him, can I go in the back? Which is probably...
Oh. Using your power to your advantage, James. Shame, shame, shame. Using your power to your advantage.
breaking a bajillion health code violations, but this kid didn't care. He let me in. It had been 3 years since I had been back there, and literally nothing had changed. I don't know if any of you have ever moved out of your parents' house.
Nope. I have not moved out yet. I made a video about this, but my parents are thinking about kicking me out next year sometime, so that's gonna be fun.
Then 3 years later, you went back to visit and saw your childhood bedroom, but it was that sort of feeling. The chip boxes were still in the same place, inside the freezer all the food was pretty much where I left it, and the bulletin board had all the same papers. One of the papers was a list of all the employees with their names and phone numbers, and that list was so old that it still had all of my old coworkers' names and numbers, and it even had my own name and numbers.
Oh, wow.
It had been crossed out, but I still went, ah! And I punched it out with a pencil. Maybe that's how my phone number got leaked. And then I thought, I wonder if the other number is still here. In the very back of the room, there was this desk, and I got down on the gross, unmopped floor, and I scooted underneath the desk, and oh my gosh, it's still here. When I used to work there, one of my coworkers found this store's Wi-Fi password and wrote it down on the bottom side of the desk, so then everyone could watch Netflix instead of work. And the employee had no idea it was there, and he typed it into his phone, and it still worked. All right, don't tell people that I told you this, I said. We can't let anyone know this secret. But then the place closed down, so now no one can get in trouble. Anyways, I'm gonna miss that.
I really want to know why it closed down. I guess there's a lot of competition with Subway now. So that maybe the Chipotle wiped it out.
That place. It was gross and I didn't love working there, but in the end, it was the most memorable job I had as a teenager, as it was the only other job that I had. It formed a good work ethic, I made new friends, and I even got to eat free food sometimes. But now I might get sued for this video, so we'll see what happens. So now, every time I walk into Sooubway with my non-service animal, a little part of me will be sad that my old Sooubway is in ruins. Okay, maybe it's not in ruins, but they'll probably turn it into a nail salon or something. Not saying...
I love how you animated him saying that, and then you gave him the crazy long nails. Also, it's weird. Like, I've worked at fast food restaurants before, and like, I'm talking like major chains. And, you know, whenever I go visit them to go get something to eat, it's always weird. It's always weird going into them.
lasts forever, so it's time to give Sooubway a proper burial.
Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I enjoyed this a lot. I think this is a really good Odd Ones Out video. I think I'd rate this Odd Ones Out video out of a 10, probably at like, maybe, I don't know, maybe like an 8. And I think the reason why a lot of people can relate with this is because a lot of people, you know, have worked fast food related jobs, as myself, and I'm sure a lot of you have. And I can tell you, fast food jobs are horrible. They're absolutely horrible. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. So anyway, whatever. I hope you guys like this. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you're new and subscribe and join the family. Make sure you guys also go subscribe to the Odd Ones Out. That link's in the description. I'll see you guys next time.